want to know what's next for America. This is a time of great uncertainty, a historic day. The election 2012. Who's going to win? Is it President Barack Obama or is it Mitt Romney? And what's next? People like me, not a genius, saw this years ago. Saw it in 2008, saw it in 2001. Follow the money. And what's happened to the money system? What's happened to our capital markets? What have we experienced over the past few years? Well, the big players, the big movers and shakers, the bankers, have redistributed the wealth. They've stolen from you, the little guy. They've kept you in a negative feedback loop of debt and dependence. And you see, that's what the federal government wants. That's what your rulers want. You are a slave. You know, it might not be as obvious as it was 1,000 years ago when you were in physical bondage or there was indentured servitude. In fact, that's kind of the genius behind it nowadays. The genius is the people don't even realize they're enslaved. They've been corralled, they've been herded, and there's only one or two sheep jumping the fence. And you know those one or two sheep jumping the fence, those sheep that say, oh my God, the rest of the flock is being led to slaughter. Those people are considered crazy. Those people are considered nuts. You know, they're conspiracy theorists. They're whack jobs. They're tinfoil hatters. You know, the United States government wouldn't do anything to hurt us. I mean, these bankers have our self-interest at heart, don't they? And you see, when you really dig into the criminal nature and the criminal mind of these people, you see how deep the rabbit hole really does go. And it's not pretty because it changes your entire outlook of how you're being governed, how you're being manipulated. You look at things like the consumption process, how mainstream advertisements are used to influence your behavior. They've impregnated an idea, and more importantly, they have infiltrated your mind to promote a certain reaction. I need this. I need that to be happy. I need my peers to accept me. That is what gives me value. And you see, that's where a lot of America is today. They think that things honestly give them value. And so America wants to know what's next, what's coming to the world. And what's coming right after the U.S. election, whether or not it's Mitt Romney, the challenger, or Barack Obama for a second term, is war. Follow the money. The United States, because it's collapsed, really our civilization, because they've collapsed our financial markets, because they've ripped us off, because the United States has lost its dominance on the world stage, has no options left. Now, of course, they created this situation. They created this environment. And of course, they're going to ask you to go die and fight for their cause, not yours. And they're going to do it really ingeniously, too. They're going to make it, you know, they have the ability and the capability, they've done this many times before, even in recent history, they'll make it look like an act of self-defense, something the American people can rally behind. Be the perfect time. You know, whether or not you hate Obama's politics or you hate Mitt Romney's politics, whatever side you're on, hey, you can get behind a war, especially if we've been attacked. You know, especially if we've had a September 11th type event. Remember all the American flags? You know, go America. Let's go kill some people. Let's go take it out on whoever these perpetrators are. So did we do that? Did we take it out on the perpetrators? Well, President Bush told us it was about weapons of mass destruction, WMDs. Wasn't true. Total lie. Total scam. Total bullshit. Did we go and invade Saudi Arabia? The country where most of the terrorists were from, that supposedly were on the planes with their box cutters and miraculously drove them into two buildings, September 11th, 2001. Did we invade that country? No. So where do we go from here? What happens next? Well, I'm telling you what happens, America. I'm telling you what happens, world war. The United States wants war. It's why they're provoking it. Why do you think Obama bypassed congressional approval, went in and assassinated Muammar Gaddafi for the world to see. Why do you think he's got a hit on Bashar al-Assad, Syrian president? Why do you think we've implemented economic Pearl Harbor type sanctions against Iran? These are acts of war. This isn't an act of peace. So you know what? We'll finish this election. We'll keep you focused on this contentious debate. We'll keep you focused on the voter fraud and the fact that, Obama could only lose if the election was rigged. That's what the former DNC chief had to say today. I mean, talk about just a pile of lies and bullshit stacked up to the ceiling. Keep you focused on this while they do this. War. Coming to the United States of America. And you know what? They're going to make it look like it's an act of self-defense. They're going to make it look like, oh man, we got to go to war. It's so unfortunate. But get behind us. Get behind Mitt Romney and his new war. Get behind President Barack Obama and his new war. Bipartisanship. You remember how they sold that to us in 2008? Democrats and Republicans, they came together to save the day for us. Looking out for our best interests. Yep, looking out for you. And they did a great job too, didn't they? They prevented millions of people from having to go through foreclosure or bankruptcy or the loss of work. Or did they? Didn't seem like they did any of that. But they did transfer the wealth. $15 trillion in 2008, and it keeps ticking higher. It's kind of like a 2-year-old driving a school bus drunk with his hair on fire and driving it over a cliff. And yet we're going to give that 2-year-old the keys to the kingdom. Say, hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, we trust you. Yeah, we know you can't explain the financial crash of 2008. We know you can't explain the economic collapse, the May 6, 2010 flash crash. We know you can't explain why you're killing people overseas, but you know what? You probably have our best interests at heart, so we're going to allow you to keep running the show. So how do we stop it? Can we stop what's coming to the world? The cut and dry answer to that is no. You can't. All you can do is prepare for it, but more importantly, you can control how you react to it. When your government, in the next coming months, no matter what happens and how they position it, tell you and try to sell you on the idea that you need to go overseas and sacrifice your life for them, say no. You see, what these people fear is you realizing that you have the power. What these people fear and what they're trying to prevent from happening is you from being fully awake to understanding that it's you that have the power. It's you inside yourself that can propel that change simply by changing the way you understand the world, changing the way you think, and more importantly, changing the way and how you act. You have the power, nobody else. Take the power away from them, disengage, withdraw, and watch what happens. Watch the fraudulent criminal Ponzi scheme come crashing down. These people should be scared. Technology has opened the door for truth. You can't hide it anymore. And a lot of us get frustrated, especially within the movement, especially those of us that are educated, that do dig for the truth. We say, people, why? Why can't you just wake up? Why can't you see how you're being manipulated and lied to? But you know what? It's tough to get mad at the people when the big dogs are doing such a good job controlling them. Which is a question you need to ask yourself. Do you really want to be free? Because honestly, the masses, the majority, they don't. It sounds good in theory, sounds like a good concept, but you see, freedom comes with a cost, comes with a sacrifice. Many people are unwilling to make. That sacrifice doesn't have to be your life. It doesn't have to be something as drastic as that. It just has to be a change within you, a change within your heart. That's it. People say, Christopher, it's like, you're an ant and you're trying to scale Mount Everest. Yeah, that might be the case. But millions of us try to do it together. Millions of us do it together. It becomes a lot easier. Withdraw, pull back, disengage, and say no. We don't even really need to march. We don't need to go to the streets. There doesn't need to be an Occupy Wall Street or any of those things. Just disengage. Pull back. Watch what happens. A lot of people talked about this, but most of the time it just kind of gets put under the rug. It sounds a little hokey. It's not going to happen. But you see, what's happened to America, what's happened to the world really is a blessing in disguise. The fact that we realize now and that more people are waking up to the fact that everything was a lie to begin with, that it was built on a foundation of sand, that it was engineered, the better. I said yesterday, in a certain respect, we should be rooting that President Barack Obama is reelected because more people will wake up. Maybe Romney buys us a little bit more time, but not much. Still going to war. Can't stop it. You can only change yourself. You can only change how you act, what you give back to the world. So what are you voting for today? Did you vote for President Barack Obama? Did you vote for Mitt Romney? Did you vote for Gary Johnson? Or did you vote for yourself? I'm voting for me. I'm voting for the world. I'm voting for humanity. I'm Christopher Green. You've been watching Green Wave TV, alternative media television, and I just delivered the Daily Wave. Hard-hitting and in your face, America.